Went on to the next one, baby. This underrated Saints cornerback could emerge into a defensive star. Shout out to Yard Barker covering it. This is originally from Sports Illustrated on the Saints side. Shout out to my guy, Kyle T. Mosley. Saints have one of the worst rosters in football, but they still have a chance to win games in 2025 if their defense can outperform expectations. The offense led by Spencer Rattler isn't going to blow teams away, so it's going to have to be the young and improved defense that carries the bulk of the load for New Orleans, that led by a few stars. Mr. Gray of The Dish said some high praise for expectations for the Saints' young cornerbacks and Kool-Aid McKinstry. So they lead right away with the fact that the Saints' offense is not going to be that good. How do these people know this? You know, I mean, I've seen constantly, year after year, teams that people give no chance to just rail away and handle business. You don't really know. You can honestly say you didn't see Spencer Rattler operate the Saints' secret offense. I say secret offense because we hadn't seen the shit. We hadn't seen what they're doing behind closed doors. They kick the media out and they run the stuff that they want to run. And they hold on to it as much as they can to give them an opportunity, because once the NFL gets it, they're going to start peeling it away from you, seeing what you can do. And that's when the real test begins. That's when we seen in weeks 1 and weeks 2 last year when Clint Kubiak was running the show and he was doing all this fanciful stuff because the NFL was like, damn, this is something different. But when week 3 came around, you start seeing the league moves fast, and they started to adapt and adjust to what the Saints was doing, and they started to take stuff away from them. When they put this away, took this away, what do? Can you adjust? Can you adapt? Do you have offensive imagination and ingenuity where you can keep your game going? And they did not. They did not have it. And then you've been seeing the whole damn year even when the starters came back, they could not generate what they did from weeks 1 and 2 because the secret is out. The big thing, the big key to success in the NFL, outside of being intelligent and being spot on with your game and being thorough with your team and knowing who you are with an identity, is that you have to also be able to just be about the business of making the adaptations or the adjustments when they're called for. You have to do that. You have to know how to move guys around. And if you got stars here, you got to get these guys involved. If we only have a handful of people that are super good on the team, it's levels to it. You have other guys like a Mason Tipton who are really young, good players. And you have great players like Elvin, really solid, great players like Alavi. Rashid Shaheed is an awesome player as well. So you got these high level guys. You got to use them to pull opportunities for these other guys nobody don't know nothing about. Because many times defenses will key in on those said names. And if this other guy, they don't care about him. If Mason Tipton have 10 catches for 150 yards and 3 touchdowns on the NFL team, they'll say that somebody beat them or nobody beat them, but he ain't going to be Alvin Kamara. That's how they feel about it. If this Valley has 5 catches for 150 yards and 3 touchdowns on the NFL team, well, damn, he took them apart. But at least it wasn't Rashid Shaheed. That's how they look at it. They can't game plan. You can't stop everybody. So you just dial in on the stars. You try to take the stars away. And if I use other players to beat you, they'll live with that. That's how they do, because they know they can't stop everybody. So they would simply live with those results. But the key to it is also getting those guys going, the backups to help and assist when your stars are going to shine and provide opportunities. They'll get you over the line. But also everybody has to play a part in the success of the team. So I question a lot of the writers, including the people that write for our team, about carrying the line, the national line about the Saints. Listen, if you had some proof that you can put before the court and say, hey, man, this is my proof right here. The thing is, nobody has seen the Saints defense. They don't know what the hell the offense. They don't know what the Saints offense looks like. They don't know what it looks like. Hell, they don't know. They never seen it before. All you seen was vanilla practice plays that they're not going to use. They're not going to use that stuff. They got an entire playbook that he's been working on when they push the reporters out, and they do that in the solitude and the secrecy of their practices behind closed doors. Then they run the stuff that works for them. So the point is, I don't see how we are tasked, and these people supposed to know this, is that how you sitting up here ranking them this low and you ain't seen shit from them. I'm just asking the question, how the hell do you know? What the hell are you going by? They got the worst roster in the NFL. Oh, give me a break. So they got a roster worse than the Jets, the Dolphins, teams that were fourth place. We play in the Arizona Cardinals. They were fourth place. Titans Saints got they lined up for the #1 overall pick to get a player that ain't coming out until 2026 or 26. So, I mean, 27, actually, because he ain't coming out next year in Arch. It's all this fanciful nonsense. You don't have any proof. It's just straight, hot, stinking opinion. You haven't seen it yet. That's the point. The whole thing about Spencer Rattler, he was awful last year. Yes, Spencer Rattler struggled. He was a rookie. He's allowed to struggle if you're a rookie. Hell, if you're a second-year quarterback, you're allowed to struggle a little bit. Hell, don't tell me that you ain't go to your job and screw up and drop some shit and tear up some stuff and then hope and pray they didn't fire your ass. I mean, nobody perfect on their job. What I'm saying is that these guys are allowed to learn on the job and improve. And yet to say anything about who's best and who's worst, you don't know how these teams are going to perform until they are there. That's my point. Whether it's right or wrong or how they do this, that, and the third, my point is they don't know shit about what this offense looks like. None of us do. We can guess, but it's just a guess. It's just that. It's not fact. As I'm telling you, it's not fact. We don't know. So this crap about the Saints is the worst team and all this bullshit. I don't know whether this is national commentary nonsense from people that don't do nothing but do a side eye of your team. Now, these people ain't doing any real extensive research on the Saints. The national media, the people that just do a little side eye at you, they don't have time to do that. They're too busy focusing on everybody else's team, pretending like they know about your team. And then they throw you bombard you with stats all day. Well, the Saints is this. It's amazing. Kool-Aid McKinstry is primed for a big year in New Orleans. It opened up the defense. The defense is going to be what the defense is going to do what they do. I still think the Saints will have an opportunity to do some things, just like most teams. But I am most interested in how the offense is going to look because it is by the offense. If you got a head coach that's a quarterback, that's an offensive-driven person, and his team is being led by the defense, you got some problems. The offense needs to lead the Saints. We're not doing this Dennis Allen bullshit. We did that for the last 4 years when we talked about the defense leading the offense and how did that get you? Where did that get you? And this stuff about Derek Carr and all this kind of stuff. Derek Carr was a bad decision for the Saints. He was one game over 500. And they did better than the rest of them. Hell, the rest of them, man, you Derek Carr, $150 million for 14 wins and 13 losses. Get the hell out of here, man. Carr wasn't shit. We knew he wasn't shit. We knew that. He was not. It's not a surprise he retired. It's not. I told y'all, I said he could not survive without Dennis Allen protecting him. He could not stand up before the face of the Who Dat Nation with all the heat bearing down on him to win. He would not do that. He couldn't even stand up to the pressure that was Spencer Rattler in his rookie year because he was more popular than him. Come on, man. These people here ain't made for this shit, man. They're not made. We know who not made for this shit, man. You can look at these dudes, how they sound, all that freaking talking he did, and all this bullshit. We ran right through that guy. That guy we knew who he was. And when his buddy Dennis the Possum Allen got put in the cannon and fired to Chicago, we knew it was a moment of time before he got out of here too. So all he did was blessed us with his what you call it, not with his presence, but with his departure, baby. Now let's get back to football and accountability. That's what I want. All right, anyway, Kool-Aid McKinstry time. Only validated the expectations with a strong camp. His performance, one of the most discussed throughout the process. Now it's time to translate practice to game day. Kool-Aid McKinstry to me is a guy that's ready for some big time stuff. Now he kind of had in that preseason game, he kind of struggled. You seen Sutton, they attacked Sutton. And Sutton's a big physical wide receiver and he made some plays on the Kool-Aid man. But what happens is he's allowed to have that to happen because Kool-Aid is going to grow because he's got that temperament. Kool-Aid's a dog. He got that mentality, and they have a good one in Kool-Aid McKinstry. That's just the bottom line. They have a good one in Kool-Aid. Now after trading Laddie Daddy and losing Paulson in free agency, Kool-Aid has been thrust into the top cornerback role on the team. That means he'll be matched up with Marvin Harrison Jr., Mike Evans, Drake London, Tyreek Hill through this year. It's going to be fun. This is going to be a year. This is going to be a year for the Kool-Aid man, right? Young cornerback was impressive last season, but he's been far more impressive in training camp in the preseason. Saints need to take a huge step in the coming months if they want to change and win a few games, want to win more than a few. If McKinstry is getting torched week in and week out, the Saints will be one of the worst teams in the NFL. If he can lock down opposing receivers, also will have a chance. First of all, he won't get torched. Not saying that he would. Why? Because when you have intelligent safety play, when you got guys like a Justin Reed, who's really intelligent, when you have guys like Julian Blackmon, who all he does is get picks and make plays. You got high intelligent safety play. That takes a lot of that out of there. And plus, like I said, Kool-Aid McKinstry is allowed to, have a flub 2 or 3 or 4 because he's still a young cornerback. But at the end of the day, it's not only on him. Everybody must step in, lock in, handle business. But if you want to put your money on somebody that will show some improvement this upcoming year, put your money on the Kool-Aid man.